Hello, everybody. Welcome to another great interview. I am super happy and grateful for my guest today. Jasmine is the founder of Her Texas, which is an amazing organization of women and networking events. I've actually known about Jasmine through Instagram. I do not know how Instagram puts you through my algorithm. And I was like, oh, this is so cool. Because I'm a transplant to the Texas area, and it was so great to be able to find a organization or a group of women that were actually actively trying to connect. And I felt that they were really great resources and networking opportunities. So I immediately joined at the end of last year or beginning of this year for Her Texas. And I've been completely grateful for crossing paths with you, Jasmine. So thank you for being a yes today to today's interview.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. I did not know that's how we connected or Instagram brought us together. So that's good to know. Maybe explore page or something.
At the end of last year, I kind of said to myself, I want to actively start connecting with people because entrepreneurship can feel lonely. I've been doing it for over 10 plus years. And I was like, okay, this year I want to start finding ways to connect with other people, specifically female entrepreneurs. I have friends that are not. But I was like, okay, if I'm going to give Texas, I always say, if I'm going to go somewhere, I want to really give it an honest try before I make any assumptions or judgments. So I think because I might have been searching for stuff and then you were promoting about the founders membership, then that's probably why I kept seeing you. So yeah.
So, well, I'm so excited you're in our community now.
So can you share a little bit about Her Texas and why did you decide to start it?
Yeah, so I'm a founder too, so I'm part of the community too. And I have always been passionate about supporting women in the community. And so I was trying to find a way to connect other women in the state. And so back in 2019, I have a statewide network, and I realized a lot of people didn't have that because just because of size, Texas is a very large state. And most of the time, most cities kind of stay within themselves. I mean, there's some it can interconnectivity, but for the most part, Dallas does Dallas, Austin does Austin. And so back in 2019, we just started hosting events, just saying, hey, we're going around the state trying to bring some connectivity together. And when COVID happened and there were no more events and we all had to go virtual, that's when I realized, okay, we can't be an events-based company anymore. And then two, when we were all on virtual, it was women from everywhere, Killeen, Denton, Waco,
Yeah.
and we all were talking about the same stuff. We had challenges trying to find new networking opportunities, trying to find cash capital to make stuff happen, trying to just manage it all for those that were moms, like how do we balance this? So that's when I realized we needed to probably change our model. So like 2021, 2022 is when Her Texas started to evolve from just events. And I would tell you that, 5 years ago, I would have never thought what we're doing now is what we would have done. I just thought we were going to be an events group. And I think it's testament to being really open and
Yeah.
flexible to letting your business pivot, because sometimes you don't know what the business
Yeah.
needs to be till you're in it. And so now we're really champion economic
Yeah.
empowerment. Now we still have our mimosas, we still go have a good time, but I was trying to decide like how could we
Yeah.
differentiate ourselves? And I think this idea of champion economic empowerment is kind of our sweet spot.
Yeah, I think so too, because the whole capital, raising money, all of those things can be the hardest part. And I was earlier today, we were having a conversation and we shared that statistic about six figure, like how many companies actually make over 100K. And when we
Yes.
think about taxes and operating costs, still that can be an extremely tight experience of entrepreneurship. So when I first found out about you were going to start doing, I mean, I would love for you to explain about it, but giving people an opportunity to raise capital or do crowdfunding.
Yeah.
One, I feel like crowdfunding isn't something that's often spoke about in our, like people just think about GoFundMe
Hmm.
for
Yeah.
like life events, not how do I get people behind my concept. So what are some of the challenges that you hear that are common for female entrepreneurs when it comes to funding their businesses?
I think there is still a bias when it comes to women-owned businesses if they are investable, if that's even a word. If and also too, depending on what your business acumen is, and if you're bankable, that's a word. If you're bankable, because I've heard this before, you may not be able to get access to the
Yes.
traditional financial pathway. So The problem is Texas
Mhm.
always ranks really high as far as women starting businesses, but we see a challenge as far as needing having the capital in order to grow. So there's a lot of businesses right now, a lot of women have excellent ideas, but they don't have the cash to take it to the next level. So what that means is they're going to continue to be
Yeah.
working their business instead of their business working for them. They're going to have to take on other sorts of income in order to make it work, or they're going to have to quit altogether and go back
Yeah.
to working full time, which is nothing wrong with that, by the way, because I've definitely in my journey, I've worked full time. I've done things on the side. Like my journey's been very
Yeah.
open in that way, but we don't have the
Yeah.
resources needed to grow. So what that means is it's actually frustrating to meet business owners that have incredible ideas to be great business owners, but not have the financial resources. And when I started thinking about how do we
Yeah.
tackle this, there's a challenge too, because most women business owners are never going to need venture capital. And that's what we hear a lot of conversation about is
Mhm.
there's this lack of venture capital for women, which is very true. But most of us need, anywhere from $1,000 to $50 to $100,000 to move to the next level. Most venture capital is much bigger than it, much bit larger. So I started thinking, well, we've got
Yeah.
17 million women just off the jump in Texas. We've got all these women starting companies.
Yeah.
How can we take the crowdfunding platform and take it to the next level? And so while crowdfunding platforms are great, is because they make it easy for you to contribute directly to a cause. The piece that's challenging is it's the lack of
Yeah.
community. So after I get the money, I need more than
Mhm.
just the money, right? You can give me 5,000, 10,000. I need
Yeah.
a group of people that have my back that can give me, send me to the right direction, forward my information, help me market. So we've been trying to figure out for the last year to 2 years, how do we tackle this? How do we get everybody to start investing? And I say, I'm going to use air quotes in investing because this is social impact investing, not the traditional accredited where you would get
Yeah.
a stake in someone's business. This means it's some functions like a donation, like the way you would with crowdfunding. So I put my business up on
Yeah.
the crowdfunding platform. I cross my fingers and hope people contribute. That's also a challenge too, because with crowdfunding platforms, you basically have to lip sync for your life. If anybody watches Drag Race, you've actually got to get out there and share the link, do all the heavy and all the heavy lifting. You already
Yeah.
have 50 million things to do as a businesswoman. So that also said, okay, we
Mhm.
need more people to give funds and support. Founders need more than just a check, and we don't need all the weight to be on the founder. So that is where we kind of came up with this concept called Bank Her. And Bank Her is basically hopefully a response to all of that, that it is definitely people coming together to pool their funds together to give a no strings attached grant to a business owner. She didn't have to lip sync for her life. She doesn't have to do a pitch competition. She just to fill a basic application out. We're not going to be checking what she does with it, because most business owners have families, they've got kids, they've got family, they're caregivers. So you may need to get groceries, you may need to get a new laptop. Like the challenge of a woman business owner, you do
Yeah.
have your business expenses, but you have life expenses. Maybe you need a business suit. Maybe you need a trademark. These are
Yeah.
all the pieces that a lot of us are going without because we don't have just basic funds. And so I'm excited about it. It's definitely something brand new. So it's this thing where we're about to launch it, and we'll kind of see what happens. But I'm really excited about it because I think it not only solves the challenge of let's get some funds to women, but now you've got a group of people in your community who can say they are now an investor in your business, which is really exciting.
And I love the concept behind it because I know there's been different points of my journey where I found myself facing different financial challenges.
Yes.
I think sometimes the biggest hurdle it can be the mindset of feeling as if I do these types of things or if I get fun, like it can be almost like shameful where like
Yeah.
I feel that sometimes and the male counterparts, they're just out here like, yeah, even with the venture capital, like they're going after all this money. And for women, or I can speak for myself, it's
Mm-hmm.
almost like that feeling like, why can't I do this? Like it's almost like counterintuitive, if that
Yes.
makes sense. If
Yes.
you've by having conversations with other women, do they face that same thing where it's this internal judgment about needing support?
Yeah. It's this thing where this perfectionism like that is really killing a lot of us and a lot of has us struggling.
Yeah.
We've hosted events before, Jesse, where I've had women send me notes after that they didn't come, they stayed in their car. They were afraid they didn't fit in, their business would be judged. And that's when I realized we've got to do better as a group or community of women to talk about our wins. And that's why even me, like I've started putting out all my business on LinkedIn because, well, not all my business, but most of it. I'm really talking about the journey of building Her Texas, because it is exciting, but it's still it's a crapshoot on some pieces, right? Some of these things we're trying to create a first time, and also too building at a state wide level is challenging. So it's important for us to talk about these wins, and also because no one has it correct. Everybody has had some financial challenge, whether the challenge was small or huge. Everyone in business has had an issue. They could use a $5,000. They could use a $10,000. I don't know anybody right now that would say, I don't need $5,000, $10,000, $50,000. So I just think it's us having open dialogues. And that's why I really love Bank Her, because it's not the founder having to do the heavy lifting. All she has to do is apply, let the community come in and put their arms around her, right? So she just applies to a certain, and they're called Bank Her circles. And the Bank Her circle is led by one person or two people. They'll invite other people to join their circle, and then they select a founder. So the founder just really has to sit there and chill, kind of apply, and hopefully that she's selected.
I love that. So then too, so if someone's new to Her Texas and this concept, is Bank Her only open to Her Texas members? And if not, how would they go about being considered?
So this is available to all women business owners. I would tell you that it's starting with Texas first, just because that's where we are. But it's my hope that Bank Her is something that will allow us to actually scale outside of the state, that we're able to form these circles around the country, because this funding issue is not just a Texas thing. Every state has an issue right now with women-owned funding. And if you're Black or brown, it's even worse. Our access to funding and then the biases that exist with us getting the funding. So right now, you don't have to be Her Texas member. In fact, that's really part of what I'm kind of exploring too. We definitely love being a membership organization. We want to provide that opportunity so we can do the networking, because I think it's really important to have another network. But I also want women to realize you don't have to be a member to be part of this community, to join a circle to help another woman. And if you're really having a tough time, I'd much rather you pause and hold your coins. If you can't join as a member, pause until your business is at a place. We're going to be here for you when you're ready, but I would rather you pause and then maybe you contribute. What I hope to happen is, even if I apply for a grant, I can still contribute to another circle. This idea that I'm going to apply for a grant I need for my business, but I can contribute 20, 30, I can contribute whatever I have to another woman. This is this cycle, this karmic cycle, I believe, of us, this continuous flow of capital, that as I continuously give to other women, it always comes back to me. This is the culture that I hope we don't just expect to get it, that even if I have any opportunity to give it to another woman, I'm going to be part of that. I think that creates the type of energy and culture and community that we need to make a change.
No, I agree wholeheartedly, because even when I've spoken to other entrepreneurs, it's almost this, you'll see people like, don't share and don't tell anybody. It's kind of like taking something that's already can make you feel like you're on an island and make yourself feel even more so on an island, compared to learning how to have discernment on what places to actually put yourself in, so that you can lock arms with people, so you can grow with people, instead of thinking I need to do this all on my own. Because when you have those lows, and a lot of times that people don't feel comfortable telling their family and friends when they're having a low, because they may or may not be supportive. So we need a community of people.
No, and it's times when you don't want to tell your family, because they're already going to tell you to quit anyway. So there's times when I don't even tell, and I don't even tell certain girlfriends either, because if they're not about this life, they're going to be like, girl, you should have quit 10 years ago. Like, why are you still, because they won't get it. This is just part of the highs and lows of entrepreneurship. There's really great moments. And like, if I told half the stuff to some of my girlfriends, half the stuff I've either been a part of, witnessed, had to go through, they would have had a meltdown by now. So no, I don't, that's exactly why Her Texas, I'm part of that community too, because I can vent to the ladies in our community too that some of this stuff is rough. Doesn't mean I'm quitting.
Yeah.
It's just rough.
Yeah. Yeah. And, and you need a space so that you can share that with. So even when it comes to financial hardship or even knowing where to get sourcing, because I know that here locally in Texas, I know some really amazing female entrepreneurs that really mastered pitch contests, that have
Yes,
really mastered finding grants, that have
yes,
really mastered doing crowdfunding. And the only way that they were able to do that is one, they said, I need to find a way to get help. Two, they put themselves in spaces that they were able to get those resources. And three, not be afraid of failing. I think that
yes,
that is a big part of even doing a lot of that stuff, or even applying to be in banker. Is
yeah.
that negative self-talk that sometimes that can be there, that can be preventing us from getting the resources that we're really truly needing in our business.
It's so true. It's this thing inside of us that says that we're supposed to be perfect. And you nailed it too earlier. Our male counterparts don't think this way. I mean, if they need money, they talk about it out loud, which is kind of
Yeah.
why one of the economic initiatives we created, Fork and Fem, was created because we're already meeting up. So a lot of women's groups, everybody's meeting for lunch, coffees, brunch, and all this stuff. So a lot of us, some of us are meeting for coffee, broke as hell, if I could cuss. Broke, we come in there, we have a great time, then we leave and go back to our reality. And I'm like, there's some women right now struggling to survive. And that is a shame to me that you've got all these groups and all of us coming together, and there's women that need the support. And all it would take is a few of us to help her out. That's the issue too, is that we should not be struggling to survive. Now, it doesn't mean we're here to help out my whole day with everybody else, but the way my mind thinks is it's part of my responsibility as a businesswoman to hopefully build something great. But if I'm not thinking about the women in my community, then I'm also preventing the flow, the good flow to me as well. My career, the reason why it's where it is, and I've had some very low moments and had some really high moments, but the only reason I'm still here is because I have tried to actually pour into other women. Even when I had $2 or negative $2, I still poured. And then maybe I didn't have the cash to put into someone. I can share, right? So I can promote, I can use my channels, I can make introductions. Like, this is the culture that we need to create. And I think you said it best earlier. There's some of us kind of gatekeeping. We don't have time for gatekeeping in 2024, 2025. Like, there's too much opportunity for us to move ahead. And there's space and room for everybody to find a niche and to do what they need to do. And I'm hoping with Bank Her that even if I can't contribute financially in it, I can help share the word. I can help connect, because someone else may need the funds. Or if I'm doing really well right now financially, I'm going to lead a circle because I know financially I can give a little bit more now. And I'm also going to encourage people in my community that I know can contribute too. That's really the only way we move things forward. But trying to build a business in silence, it's no way you can do it. And it's why I've tried to start putting myself out there too, because at this point, first of all, I've been around so long, and a lot of my mistakes and failures are on Facebook. Like, Facebook sends those reminders, so I can't hide my stuff anyway. I'm like, oh, I forgot about that. So they're out here, and people that have been around for a long time already know. They're like, Jasmine, we remember when you screwed it. I know, it's still here, right? But I don't have any shame in it because I'm striving to be the best version of myself, and I'm striving to create something that makes sense and that has an impact. You're going to have to fail and make mistakes to do it. I mean, it's just part of it. And so I've accepted that piece of it, that I just fail forward. And I know that there's other people failing right now too. Yeah. Let's fail together is what I say.
Yes, I agree wholeheartedly. You said it perfectly. So for anyone that wants to know more about Her Texas or Bank Her, how will they go about finding that information?
Yeah, so Her Texas, we're on all the social channels. You can go to our website though, which is hertexas.co. And then there is a link on the homepage for Bank Her, or you can go to hertexas.co/Bank Her, and it's literally BANKHER. And you can find out all information. We haven't officially launched yet. We'll be launching in September. So this is a perfect time if you want to get involved. You'll start to hear a lot about Bank Her this fall as we head to the holidays. It's our hope that we are issuing out our first round of grants by December. And I know December is a month where we all could use some additional funds for all the things. So it's my hope to kick this off in September and that we're issuing grants. And, if we have 4 circles that have signed up, or we have 40, that means that's 4 payments that are going to 4 founders, or it could be 40. I mean, that's really the magic of this, is that the more circles we have, that just means the more funding that women are getting direct access to, which I'm really, really excited about.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so very much for speaking today. I look forward to anyone that is local, that I either will see you in the Her Texas community, see you at a networking event. And if you have any questions as well, feel free to comment below. I'll make sure to pass them along to Jasmine so that she's able to address them. So thank y'all again for watching us and having the opportunity to learn more about female entrepreneurship. Thank you.